Hey, it's Leila Rahimi back with maybe my favorite one of these Bears postgame videos. The win over the Eagles that if you didn't know, now you know. But if you've been watching this channel, you probably know. 24-15 on Black Friday. And where do we even begin? I didn't think they were going to win that game. I was like, in Philly, the Bears have won quite a bit. They won 8 of their last 9. The math wasn't mathing. You're playing the Super Bowl champions who had just lost to the Cowboys. I figured their motivation level would be on 10. And then the Bears come in there, and not only do they happily prove me wrong, but they continue to just do what we've seen them doing. And I don't know what else people need to see out of this team in order to believe the change that we have seen. But my goodness, yet another statement was made. Dan Wiederer finally gets to use the C word, culture. I had already been using it. National observers finally get to see what this Bears team is all about for themselves. On Black Friday, the Island game, they go into Philly, and if you don't know, now you know. I am so encouraged by what I saw in this game. Number one, I have a directive to everybody watching. Talk your stuff. Act like you haven't been there before. Scream to whoever will listen how happy you are about this Bears team. It is Packers week. They have done enough on the resume to show you who this team is. The progress is there. Talk your stuff. Be insufferable this week. We're going to have so much fun on 670 The Score. I can't wait. It's going to be probably our biggest football Monday in the 5 years that I've worked there. I've been here for 10 years now, and the only other time I can think of when we were this excited about the Bears was, of course, the 2018 season, and I think that this Bears team is more complete, as we've seen, and we know that they don't think they're a finished product yet. I would like to start by observing something that I think we knew was going to have to be the case in order for the Bears to have a chance to win this game. Run the ball more, and Ben Johnson did that. In fact, Caleb Williams had 36 pass attempts in this game, and Johnson said after the game he was surprised that he had even called that many. So that gives you an indication of where he's at when it comes to how he feels this team should be balanced. This was a historic performance, as we know, running the ball for the Bears, and not Bear weather, but weather that did play a massive factor in this game. DeAndre Swift, 18 carries, 125 yards. Kyle Monangai, 22 carries, 130 yards. And the way the Bears were able to use pre-snap motion to not only get the tight ends in really key blocking situations, helping their offensive line, but also having to spread that Eagles defense out enough. And that front that we know is so powerful and so effective in ways where the Bears offensive line was able to open up gaps. Drew Dahlman had an incredible game. We saw, I think, even more progress out of Ozzie Trapillo. The way the Bears were able to manipulate the Eagles' defense and try to spread out the line to create these gaps was absolutely brilliant. The motion was really cool to see all the different ways they used motion, especially with Komet and Luther Burden, I thought was so creative, and it helped create the space and those lanes for the Bears to be able to run through. Caleb Williams, as I mentioned, 17 of 36, 154 yards, a touchdown and an interception. But it's what he did after the interception that is so critical here in his development, and something that I was the most encouraged by in this game. After his interception in the third quarter, he went 5 of 7 passing for 62 yards and a touchdown, including 2 third-down conversions and 1 fourth-down conversion. But my goodness, let's go through the series of events that we saw. I mentioned this earlier. The win was a factor for the Eagles. Ben Johnson, in receiving the toss, I think did such an incredible job of using strategy. Decided to make the Eagles have to throw into the wind. That absolutely affected how they played in this game. We saw what happened later in the game when perhaps that wind may have died down a little bit. And then we saw that touchdown drive. But getting back to what the Bears were able to do. This is my Google Doc. The notebook is now digital. I mentioned that interception on what was supposed to be a screen pass. Here's how the Bears responded. Jalen Hunt reads that screen. That's the interception, as we saw. Then there was the tush-push fumble takeaway, and that was absolutely critical. Dennis Allen said earlier in the week, they had a plan for the tush-push. Once again, the Bears defense just doing what it's done all season. They leaned on their strengths in the same way the Eagles leaned on their strengths. The Eagles know they can tush push. The Bears know they can take the ball away. Nashawn Wright, congratulations for finally getting a game ball and being able to do something that we hadn't seen teams do, which was take the ball away from the Eagles in a play that had become practically automatic for them. That's how you know that it is not just an offensive change on this team, using the takeaways in creative ways and to their advantage. Absolutely huge. Can't say that enough. Then we saw what I would like to call the response drive. 12 plays, 87 yards, 6 minutes and 44 seconds off the clock that made it 17-9. It started with probably the best response you can give as a thank you to the defense. Kyle Manungai, 31-yard run. And I said in my notes, just put it to him, because that's exactly what I felt like happened. There were 9 run plays in that drive, 2 pass plays capped off by Manungai touchdown run, and that is how you do it. That is the situation that got you into this success as a team. You dance with the one who brung you, in the words of Daryl K. Royal. The Bears got brung with the run, so they continued it in such a good way in this game. And then they answer again with another touchdown drive. That one capped off by a 28-yard touchdown catch, as we saw from Cole Kmet, where Ben Johnson said after the game, DeAndre Swift was the first read on that play. So credit to Caleb Williams for checking down there and seeing him open in the end zone, adjusting and making that great play on the run. That made it 24-9. Now, as I mentioned, the Eagles did come back in this game. A.J. Brown with a, dare I say, quiet 132 yards, and he had that touchdown catch to cap off that drive. The 2-point conversion was no good. I know there's been a lot of discussion about it. I think it was the right call by Nick Sirianni. I understand the thought process. They needed more points. They needed to try to do what they could, especially once they capped off that drive. I understand why he liked that decision. It just didn't work out in their favor. The Bears defense holds, and it ends up being critical. Ben Johnson, as I mentioned, said that he called 36 pass plays. We know the running game gave them control of what they needed. And I know that there's going to be a lot of arguments to be made for some very good coaches for Coach of the Year. But Ben Johnson should be in the conversation. Think about where we were a year ago at this time. I couldn't imagine talking about a coach using the receiving kickoff and coaching and using the wind to his opponent's advantage at their home and it being the Super Bowl champion. This was not something that I could talk about in any way of confidence. This is not something that we were discussing. Instead, it was the Bears finding ways to lose. Look no further than the joy the team had in that post-game celebration. Ben Johnson, that was a little too slick on your segue and how you got into explaining why you needed to take your shirt off on national TV. I know that the city is hungry. Oh, really? I hope everybody enjoys their free hot dogs on Tuesday. What you see is a celebration of a team doing exactly what it needs to do to win. If you think I'm overly excited, I don't really care this week. That was incredible. Ben Johnson, take your shirt off. Everybody else, talk your stuff. Go get a free hot dog at the Wiener Circle on Tuesday. And most importantly, celebrate with us. We are going to have a fantastic week. Football Monday is going to be amazing, starting at 10 a.m. on Rahimi, Harrison, Grody on 670 The Score. And in the meantime, thanks for waiting a little bit. I had some family time on Thanksgiving. I hope you have a wonderful holiday, what's left of it. Be safe, stay warm, and talk your stuff. Enjoy this Bears win. Please subscribe if you like this video. Please like it. It does a lot for me. And thanks as always for watching and being there.